In this episode, you'll get a breakdown of the quote: "Sacrifice is not loss, it's choosing what matters most," and why your inability to let go of the wrong things is keeping you from the right ones. Welcome to Energy Alignment for Entrepreneurs, the podcast helping entrepreneurs be free from anxiety, stress, and tension through balancing emotions and consciousness expansion. Here's 3 things that you'll discover today. Number 1, why men who won't sacrifice anything end up with lives full of mediocrity. Number 2, how to discern what deserves your energy versus what's draining you. And number 3, the warrior's choice: burning bridges to build empires. When we hop into the quote, sacrifice is not loss, it's choosing what matters most, right? There's a little saying: increase desire or reduce, or actually, there's a little quote that goes, increase sacrifice or reduce desire. And what that means is really just in alignment with this. You're not sacrificing if you know that this is what you're meant to do. The hard part to see clearly that this is what you're meant to do is all of the honesty and the processing and the presence that it takes to understand what you care about most. Because the decisions get simpler when you unravel who you are and what matters most to you. And it takes time to do that. It takes suffering. It takes mistakes. But honestly, a lot of the times you can also look at other people and you can see that's not the type of person you want to be nor need to be. You don't make people feel that way, or that's not how you want to make people feel. So you can learn that way too. But really choosing what matters most, the hard part about that is just the time and energy it takes to get clear on what you actually care about most, and then piecing it all together, but really you're not the one piecing it together. And therefore, the hard part in that process is patience. So, what I would say to the younger Justin would truly be: find those things that you can do a lot that leave you feeling good when you do them a lot, and just put those in your life as much as you possibly can. Things, I'm a broken record with this, but things like walking, meditation, weightlifting, healthy food, cleaning, fresh air, playing, creating, sharing, drawing, things like that. Because when you sacrifice, you're just making a choice from a clear perspective. When you put your energy out, you put that signal out from a clear perspective, the universe picks back up on that emanation, that vibration you're sending out, which is, hey, God, hey, bigger picture. I've taken the time to filter through my own nonsense, right? And God says, I see, I see. And then gives you more nonsense to filter through. Yeah? Why? Because because this is the process of learning what we are. We get packed with all these triggers, these emanations which are lower. They feel suffocating. They feel burning. It feels like we're in hell. It feels like you're alone, you're lonely. No one, all these things, right? You get all these self-conscious thoughts, all these thoughts of division. And that energy, if you don't process it and learn how to alchemize it and learn how to change your states and realize that you are fully accountable for what you feel, then God sends you more pain, because the only thing that can show you how to realize and wake up to be the boss over your life, to be the one who actually lets God show you things. The only way you do that is through so much pain, so much thinking that you are supposed to do it all. And how do I put it? So there's the you, the will, the ego, but then there's also the lower emanations, which are part of the ego. So it's the same thing. The point that I'm getting at there is, we take a step back and we learn how to process, and we learn about the nature of the self. You study the unconscious. You look at truth in many different forms from many different people from many different times. You see the themes, the connections, the geometrical patterns. You cannot hide it anymore, and it starts awakening in you. And you know that this awakening is so real, so inevitable, so irrevocable because you've never felt something more powerful than it. You start to see that you are the world, and the world is as you are. So you're changing the world by changing yourself, by learning how to process these emotions. Therefore, when you process things, the unconscious emanations, they get dissolved, and then your light, your body, your temple is filled with light so that you can see clearly, put out a clear signal. That clear signal helps others wake up to when they're not processing things. They begin to feel deeper, inquire, contemplate, understand the nature of the truth in the source, and that awakens in them. The cycle repeats, and then, right, you've heard of the yugas probably. You can study the Eastern mysticism, but the truth is in all religion. And the one fact is that God is within you. I mean, there's actually many more facts, I would say. There's many more facts. But you and I are the same exact thing, and it's not easy to see that. Really isn't. It takes so much to awaken to it. And hey, this message is for anyone who is doing that work. So let's hop into the first point. Number one, why men who won't sacrifice anything end up with lives full of mediocrity. And that really is because when you sacrifice, when you get clear on what you care about, it's not really a sacrifice, but we use the word. When you get clear on what you care about and then you align your life with that clarity, then it's impossible to be mediocre. You may have hard days, you may have bad decisions, you may um, fall and stumble very much, very well. But I can guarantee you that your life, when finished in the big picture, is not at all mediocre when you have clarity around what you care about. See, the thing is, you're going to have these hard days where you're stagnant or you're stuck or you're confused or you're too zoomed in or you're taking it too seriously or you want it too badly or you're hurt and you're immature or you're weak and you're easily offendable and defensive and easily triggered. The list goes on, but the fundamental fact is that you cannot be mediocre when doing the honest man's work. Things will get you, for sure, but that is the process which makes you not mediocre. Is being God, right? Shame on you if you get me once, but shame on me if you get me twice, right? So we're really looking at that structure of, hey, you have clarity, you got your values, you understand you're not going to give up, you let go, you're guided, you have faith in the bigger picture. When things don't go the way you want them to go, you don't complain. You may grieve, you may be sad, you may cry, but you go through it. This is the thing. You process it without like perpetuating it everywhere. But that doesn't mean you can't be open with people because part of grieving and processing things and doing this work is being vulnerable. So sometimes you like that's how you get stronger is by jumping into the water even if you can't swim. Now, don't take me too seriously there. I would say learn how to swim, but that's probably just not the best metaphor. The real point is that it's impossible to be mediocre when you live a life filled with integrity and reflection and everything else that I've listed. So so get clear on what you care about and let that invigorate you because when you are working with what you actually care about, you will not lose. You will not quit, and the right people, you'll meet them at the right time. You'll come across the information. Everything will work out for you, but you need to make sure that you balance your life so that you're just not too zoomed in. Because sometimes if you get into a certain season and you're too zoomed in, you're going to be ungrateful and unconsciously putting out vibrations that you would not like coming back to you. But ultimately, that is still necessary too. So do not judge yourself based upon where you're at. Simply listen to these words and let them strike true what you already know in you. Now, point number two, how to discern what deserves your energy versus what's draining you. Very good, very important topic. We'll start with the beginning of the day and the end of the day. You can feel it when you don't want to go to bed, but you know you should go to bed. Key indicator of what's draining you. I'm not saying you can't watch TV, but there comes a point, right? It's like certain amount of TV, okay, but plus you overdo things, then it drains you, right? That's how life works a lot. It's like too much of anything is not good, yeah? And that's kind of something that's hit me in my heart lately is I haven't forced being too much of anything. I'm just learning to let go of things that I may um, attach to or been too much of. So just creating balance is not the easiest thing. The only way you can create balance is by being imbalanced. And really, the perfection is the ever going change. The perfection isn't the destination, the perfection is the entirety of seeing lack of balance get into an ebb and flow, and then to feel lack of balance into ebb and flow. Like that's the point. So, when you discern what deserves your energy, you're taking a honest look at your relationship, and that is basically the invigoration, the initiation of processing. Because when you discern and you start to understand the relationship of energy, you'll still do things that you know make you feel not great. And that's hard because we get conditioned and we get genetic patterns that we have to process and dissolve throughout time. And that's not always the easiest, especially the deeper things. But you can look and start to see like compounding is so it's everywhere, right? And when you look at the relationship between your thoughts and your actions and your inputs, you begin to unravel the nature and essence of how energy itself works. With that awareness and understanding, then it just all gets a little bit simpler. It's not like you even have to, like, decisions make themselves. Yeah. You don't have to think so much. And that's the cool part. That's also hard because a lot of people, I will say it too. You need to use your intuition, but a lot of people they lean on their heart and intuition before they have actually clarified and processed. So then they're like thinking they're being intuitive, but they're leaning on a traumatic reactive response system, which is still in this processing journey. And you have to have compassion and forgiveness for all, because you used to be that individual who didn't understand that. And the only way that you could understand it was by going through and making poor decisions and doing certain things, all of that, right? And you learn and you begin to have this gratitude for the pain, and that really awakens the heart and the compassion to let other people go through their pain, right? And not try to save them. A lot of the times you trying to save other people or helping other people is just a it's not going to work. Like they actually just need to go through the pain and let themselves feel the outcome and the energy of their decisions. So so that's like, hey, zooming out and just aligning yourself with, all right, here are the things that I can control, right? The thing that will always drain you is trying to control that which you can't control. But the thing is, we're so human, so we get attached to like all our emotions, our relationships, other people, and then we want to control things we can't. But the sooner you get to that point of just being the type of person who flows with what is and doesn't try to control what is, the easier every day will be for you. So, number three, the warrior's choice, burning bridges to build empires. I'm really not a huge fan of burning bridges, but all at the same time, I think the angle that we're going for here is sort of that warrior mentality of, hey, I know what I care about. And Christ, what did Christ say? He said to anyone, his disciples, when they were in a certain state, be gone, Satan. Said it straight to their faces, straight to his disciples, be gone, Satan. It's that sort of honesty that is terribly hard for people. And sometimes that burns bridges. But if you are burning a bridge in that manner, where you're doing it from a place of just really authentic connection to the bigger picture, it may hurt your heart. You may not even know or understand like why this energy is there. But sometimes that's also how it works. So this game of, okay, what's an empire? What's a bridge? You have to kind of feel your way through it. And then sometimes you use a bridge for like you use a bridge to get to a point, but then you don't need that bridge anymore. So the bridge is in the past. Therefore, the bridge is gone. Therefore, whatever that was, relationship, career, certain time, certain person. Look at death itself. We go through life and we want money, we want relationships, we want this, but then there comes a time where you start to see your family start dying. And you're like, wow, I've really gone through all this, man. So, what I'm saying is learn fast, learn now, and live alive. Okay? Like, make this life as good as you possibly can by being as great as you possibly can be every moment. That means really, I know it's hard if you're not in this certain state right now or if your life's a certain way, but I promise you it will work out. I promise you it will all work out. And the hard part about that is we want to have the certainty. We want to have the certainty to know, okay, how and why and when will it work out? But that wouldn't be fun, I promise you. If you knew everything right now, that wouldn't be fun. So zoom out with me and use that strength, that courage to just be grateful for where you're at, even if it's hard, to zoom out for a moment and smile and appreciate how much you've had, how blessed you've been, how many moments of love, strength, joy that have been born in your life. And really just feel that and let that wake you up. Wake you up to say, you know what? I'm going to renew myself. I am renewed. I'm going to make the right choices at the right time and be exactly who I need to be. I'm learning. I forgive others. I forgive myself. I do not hold grudges. And Father, guide me. I am guided. We are one. It, let's look at the recap. The everything trap. Trying to keep everyone happy, maintain every relationship, pursue every opportunity. This is how you build the life of nothing. Sacrifice is clarification. The sacred no. Every yes to the wrong thing is a no to the right thing. The warrior's power is in what he's willing to walk away from, not what he's willing to chase. The burning requirement. To become the man you're meant to be, you must burn the bridges to who you were. Some friendships must end. Some habits must die. Some comfort must be sacrificed. You're not losing anything real through sacrifice. You're shedding what was never meant to come with you. Cut the weight, burn the bridges, choose what matters most. The kingdom you're building has no room for what keeps you small. New episodes are out Monday, Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much for listening. Genuinely, share this with a friend. The book's in the description. I appreciate you.